Number 17. Surrender to the fact that life isn't fair. A friend of mine, in response to conversation we were having about injustice of life, asked me the question that who said life was going to be fair, or that it was even meant to be fair. Her question was good one. It reminded me of something I was taught as a younger. Life isn't fair. It is boomer. It's absolutely true. Ironically, recognizing this sobering fact can be very liberating. One of the mistakes many of us make it that we feel sorry for ourselves or for others in thinking that life should be fair or that someday it will be. It's not, it won't. When we make this mistake, we tend to spend lots of time walling and complaining about what's wrong with life. We commiserate with others, discussing the injustice of life. It is not fair. We complain, not realizing that perhaps it was never intended to be. One of the nice things about the surrendering to the fact that life isn't fair is that it keeps us from feeling sorry for ourselves by encouraging us to do the very best we can with what we have. We know it is not life's job to make everything perfect. It is our own challenge. Surrendering to this fact also keep us from feeling sorry for others because we are reminded that everyone is dealt a different hand and everyone has unique strength and challenges. This insight has helped me to deal with the problems of raising two children, the difficult decision I have had to make about who to help and who I can't help, as well as with my own personal struggles during those times that I have felt victimized or unfair treated. It almost always wakes me up to the reality and puts me back on track. The fact that life isn't fair doesn't mean we shouldn't do everything in our power to improve our own lives or the world as whole. To the contrary, it suggests that we should. When we don't recognize or admit that life isn't fair, we tend to feel pity for others and for ourselves. Pity, of course, it's self-defeating. Emotions does nothing for everyone except to make everyone feel worse than they already do. We do recognize that life isn't fair. However, we feel compassion for others and for ourselves. And compassion is the heartfelt emotion that delivers loving kindness to everyone to touch. The next time you find yourself thinking about injustice of the world, try remind yourself of this very basic fact. You may be surprised that it can nudge you out of self-pity into help action. Number 18. Allow yourself to be bored. For many of us, our lives are so filled with stimuli, not to mention responsibilities, that it's almost impossible for us to sit still and do nothing, much less relax even for a few minutes. A friend of mine said to me, people are no longer human beings. We should be called human doings. I was first exposed to the idea that occasionally boredom can actually be good for me while studying with a therapist. In La Corner, Washington, a teeny little town with very little to do. After finishing our first date together, I asked my instructor what is there to do around there at night. He responded by saying, what I would like to do is allow yourself to be bored, do nothing. This is a part of your training. And at first I thought he was kidding. Why on earth would I choose to be bored? I asked. He went on to the explanation that if you allow yourself to be bored, even for an hour or less, don't fight it. The feeling of boredom will be replaced with the feelings of peace. And after little practice, you will learn to relax. Much to my surprise, he was absolutely right. At first, I could bear staying it. I was so used to doing something every second that I really struggled to relax. But after a while, I got used to it and have long since learned to enjoy it. I'm not talking about hours of idle time or laziness, but simply learn the art of relaxing, of just being, or rather than doing for a few minutes each day. Isn't this specific technique other than to occasionally do nothing? Just sit still, perhaps look out the window and notice your thoughts and feelings. At first, you may get little anxious, but each day it will get little easier. The payback is tremendous. Much of our anxious and inner struggles stems from our busy, overactive minds always needing something to entertain them, something to focus on, and always wondering what's next. While we are eating dinner, we wonder what's for dessert. While eating dessert, we ponder what we should do afterward. After the evening, it's what should we do this weekend? After after we have been out, we walk into the house and immediately turn on television, pick up the phone, open the book, start cleaning. It's almost as though we are frightened at the thought of not having something to do, even for a minute. The beauty of doing nothing is that teach you to and clear your mind and relax. It allows your mind the freedom to not know for the brief period of time. Just like your body, your mind needs to occasionally break from its hectic routine. When you allow your mind to take a break, it comes back stronger, sharper, or more focused and creative. When you allow yourself to be bored, it takes an enormous amount of pressure of you to be perform and doing something every second of every day. Now, when either of my two children says to me, Daddy, I am bored, I respond by saying, Great, be bored for a while. It's good for you. Once I say this, they always give me an idea of me solving their problem. You should probably never thought someone would actually suggest that you allow yourself to be bored. I guess there's a first for everything. Number 19, lower your tolerance to stress. It seems that we have it backward in our society. We tend to look it up people who are under the great deal of stress, who can handle the level of stress, and who are under the great deal of the pressure. When someone says, I have been working really hard or I'm very stressed out, we are taught to admire, even emulate their behavior. In my work as a stress consultant, I heard I hear the proud of words that I have very high tolerance to stress almost every day. It probably won't come as a surprise that when these stressed and out of people first arrive at my office more often than not, what they are hoping for strategies to rise their tolerance to stress even higher so they can handle even more. Fortunately, there is an inevitable law in our emotions in moment that goes something like this. Our current level of stress will be exactly that of our tolerance to stress. You will notice that people who say, I can handle a lot of stress, will always be under the great deal of it. So if you teach people to rise their tolerance to stress, that's exactly what will happen. They will accept even more confusion and responsibility until again their external level of stress matches that their tolerance. Usually, it takes crisis of some kind of to wake up stressed out person to their own craziness. And a spouse leaves, health issues emerge, a serious addiction takes over their life. Something happened that jolts them into the search for a new kind of strategy. It may seem strange, but if you were enrolled in an average stress management workshop, would you probably learn to rise your tolerance to stress? It seems that even stress consultant or stressed out, would you want to start doing it, noticing your stress early before it gets out of hand? When you feel your mind moving too quickly, it's time to back off, and you can regain your bearing when your schedule is getting out of hand. A signal that it's a time to slow down and re-evaluate what's important rather than power through everything on the list. When you are feeling out of control and resentful of all you have to do, rather than roll up your sleeves and get to it. A better strategy is to relax. Take a few deep breaths and go for a short walk. You'll find what when you catch yourself getting too stressed out early before it gets out of control, your stress, the well-being, like the movable snowball rolling down to the hill, and when it's small, it's manageable and easy to control. Once it gathered to momentum, however, it's difficult, not impossible to stop. There is no need to worry that you won't get it all done. When your mind is cleared and peaceful and your stress level is reduced, and you will be more effective and you will have more fun as you lower your tolerance to stress, and you will find that you have far less stress to handle as well as creative ideas for handling the stress that is left over. Number 20. Once a week, write heartfelt letter. Now, this is an exercise that has helped me to change my lives. Assisting people in becoming more peaceful and loving, taking a few minutes each week and write heartfelt letter does many things for you. Pick up a pen, typing on a keyboard slows you down long enough to remember the beautiful people in your life. The act of sitting down to write helps to fill your life with the gratitude. Once you set to try this, you will probably be amazed at how many people appear on your list. I had one client who said, I probably don't have enough weeks left in my life to write everyone on my list. This may or may not be true for you, but chances are there are a number of the people in your life or from your past and who are quite deserving of friendly, heartfelt letters. Even if you don't have people in your life to whom you feel you can write, go ahead and write a letter to someone you don't know instead. Perhaps to another who may not even be living, whose work you admire, or to great investors or thinkers from the past and the present. Part of your value of the later, this later is a gear your thinking toward gratitude. Writing the letter, even if it isn't sent, would do just that. The purpose of your letter is very simple to express love and gratitude. Don't worry if you are awkward of writing letters. This isn't a contest from a head, but a gift from the heart. If you can't think of much to say, start with a short little note like, Dear Jasmine, I woke up this morning and thinking of how lucky I am to have people like you in my life. Thank you so much for being my friend. And I'm truly blessed, and I wish for you all the happiness and joy that life can bring. Love, Richard. So not only does writing and sending a note to like this focus your attention on what's right in your life, but the person receiving it will, is all likelihood, be extremely touched and grateful. And often it's a simple action of spirit of loving actions, and whereby person receiving your letter maybe decide to do the same thing to someone else and perhaps will act and feel more loving toward others. Write your first letter this week. I'll bet you will be glad to that. I'll bet you'll be glad you did. Imagine number 21. Imagine yourself at your own funeral. The strategy is a little scary. Imagine yourself at your own funeral. The strategy is a little scary for some people, but universal effect at reminding us of what's most important in our lives. When we look back on our lives, how many of us are going to be pleased at how uptight we are? Almost universally, when people back on their lives while on their deathbed, they wish that their priorities had been quite different. With a few exceptions, people wish they hadn't sweated the small stuff so much. Instead, they wish they had spent more time with the people and activities that they truly loved and less time worrying about the aspect of life that, upon deeper examination, really don't matter all that much. Imagining yourself at your own funeral allows you to look back at your life while you still have the chance to make some important changes. While it can be little scary or painful, it's a good idea to consider your own depth and as a process your life. Doing so, you will remind you of the kind of the person you want to be and the priorities that are most important to you. If you're at like me, you probably get wake up call that can be an excellent source